Okay, now we're into analytics, okay? This is the other stuff that nobody does, okay? So the goals here was to get deeper data in our store, know who our people are, get really dialed in metrics on everything, figuring out the right ad placements, the customer demographics. So again, this kind of stuff is not taught by people because people don't do it. They don't teach it again because it's not glamorous and nobody wants to take the effort to do it. What we're talking about here is going deep diving into our data, our metrics, and what is actually happening at the click level, the page level, all the way through. We know if a 37-year-old woman from Waxahachie likes to shop on an iPhone or a tablet. I can tell you exactly what they like to do. I can tell you exactly what percentage of males who buy from our store buy on an iPhone 5S. I can tell you all those things. And the reason I can tell you that is because Matt set it all up so that I can look good by reading off the data. But the reality is that we have that data now. And so when we run ads, we can tell Facebook exactly who we want them to serve us as our ideal buyer, and we can score heavy on the ads. Okay, we make a ton more money because we can be more targeted and we have less waste in our budget. And now that we know exactly who our customer is, I can talk to Susan, the 47-year-old woman from Waxahachie who likes her, Amazon Fire tablet. I can talk to her directly and make my marketing message speak specifically to her. Okay, which again is something that people don't do. You talk to the masses and you sell mediocre. You talk to the specifics and you sell like crazy. So this section people think is boring, but again, it's actually pretty cool when you learn what's really in here.
And the other thing is, I would just go back to using that bounce rate as an example. If you can lower your click cost, or why send someone to your store or pay for an impression to someone that's proven not to convert? And so a bunch of the data that we're going to show you here, uh, essentially, you would never know from Facebook reports. The reason why we have it is because we literally ran Google UTM codes for all of our Facebook ads so that we could get this extra data. And the thing is, in the beginning, does it take longer? Yes, it takes longer, and it's annoying, and it's not fun. But again, I go back to now on the same amount of ad spend, Tanner and I can take home an extra $78,000 a month in our pocket based on the same amount of spend that we have. Like, we're doing nothing different anymore. Like, now we know who to send to our store. We know approximately what they're going to convert at. We know if we spend $1, we're going to get back $4. And we can do this over and over and over. The other thing is, it's actually allowed us, because now we've got so many conversions and we have such a good score, and the people that hit our store spend and convert, Facebook actually likes that more. So Facebook, I had the opportunity to go to their office, and they said, like, they look at how their users interact with your site, and
All
they
the way
know
through
that,
it.
yeah, all the way through it. Yep. So they know that if the person lands on the landing page and then they leave, Facebook actually is doing the same thing that Google is, and they're saying, oh, okay, this isn't not such a good user experience, that person's going to pay more per click. Well, if they land on your store and then they add to your cart and then they become a purchase, Facebook sees that as a win. Okay, this is a good experience, and so now your domain gets favored. So like, they weight it just like Google does. So for us, the more that we could narrow down who is coming to our site and completing the goal, one is obviously you don't want to send people to your site that don't complete it, but by us knowing exactly who that was, now we can just tell Facebook this is who we want. And after we did that for a couple months, we were literally allowed to then start just opening up our audiences to 2 and 3 million. But Facebook already knows what people convert on our site, and so now it's allowed us to go ahead and scale. So we can now, our audiences are 3 or 4 million where they used to be 100,000, and our conversion rate stays the same. Actually, it's got better. Like I said, now we're at 4.28 something today, which is a percentage higher than. It doesn't sound like a lot, 1% higher, but you guys already saw what 1 and 2% does. So that's why we dug into the ad side of it, because we realized the end result was going to be astronomical again.
So Matt just said something that I want to make sure you guys get, and that is we are taught, and we even teach it, that when you're targeting, you should be building ad sets out that are, pretty much no more than around 300,000 people. Okay, and because they're smaller, they're more targeted, you can get deeper into them, you're going to get better interaction, and you're going to actually have more sales. But here's the reality of that. That only goes so far, because you should do it, and we still do it as well. But when you're starting out, it's the only thing you have. But the problem is, at some point, you get through that audience and you can't scale. Okay, you can't go any further because that audience gets dried up. All right. So you see these guys doing crazy numbers of sales and posting all these screenshots, which, whatever, they can do what they want. The reality is they're doing targeting of massive audiences. Okay. And the only way you can get to the point where you can say, hey, Facebook, I want to target these 3 million people, is when you have this kind of data that we're about to talk about, because then our pixel, quote unquote, is seasoned. You've probably heard them people talk about a seasoned Facebook pixel. Well, this is what we're talking about. We know down to literally these type of cell phone the people are using as to who's going to convert. So now when Facebook has all that data, and they have all their data, and then we have even more data from what we've collected with Google Analytics and our customer data, and then we apply those constraints to our ads, which is combined then with with Facebook's data in their platform, we almost can't lose. We know it's like shooting fish in a barrel and on a huge, huge audience. So our barrel is an ocean instead of a barrel, right? So this is critical. So I'm going to let Matt take you away on this ad adjustment thing, and then we're going to keep going through.
Yeah, so one thing that we did here is we use video ads. They've been proving over and over and over to be the cheapest ads to run right now. They work. Facebook favors them. What we did in order to make our ads draw more attention, because you're going to pay for the person to scroll past it, we put words on it, or subtitles is what they're called. And so now all of our ads literally just have subtitles that say what the person on the video is saying. And it's worked so well that Facebook's actually added the tool right into their ad manager where you can add subtitles. At the point that we did this, it wasn't in the editor yet, but it is there now. And I would recommend that you do it immediately, because as soon as you do it, what happens is you get more engagement. The higher click-through rate that you get, the less cost you pay. So if you can raise your click-through rate, it lowers your ad cost. You're going to send more people to your store for the same amount of money. Next slide, Tanner. Yeah, okay, then the other thing. So what we did is we actually did not have an AdWords account at the time when we first started doing this. So we literally opened an AdWords account, tied it into our Google Analytics, and then when we run our UTM code, or we run our Facebook ads through a UTM code, AdWords will literally pull out the demographic data that they know about those people, and then they start giving you a lot more information, like age range. Age was the biggest one. The device is automatic. So I think the big win for us here was we got affinities off of our audience, and you'll see in a little bit how we used that. And then the other thing was you got more analytical data about the age of our users.
So this is actually a big point that we didn't even realize, was that, okay, so Google Analytics and AdWords, they're both Google. So we would assume that Google Analytics by itself would give you the full data suite that you can get. Of course, Google doesn't do anything that's rational. So we had no idea that we needed to have our AdWords account linked up to actually extract more data from the tools we were using in Google Analytics. And these accounts are free, but if you don't know these things, you're missing out, because Google Analytics is awesome, but the ability to add all these additional constraints on your ad from exact data came from merging the two accounts. Okay, so this is a big, big, big thing for you to do, even if you never plan on running an AdWords ad ever.
All right, so here's some of the breakdowns. One, this is an audience demographic, and you can see what we were able to glean from this. Like, we were running ads to 18 to 64. We broke it up by age range. In the beginning, this was very tedious, so we literally did each 10-year age group, or 18 to 24, 25 to 34, and so on. And then I actually also did it by whether they were iOS user, Android, and then once I started getting into it and got a lot faster at it, I actually even started breaking it out whether they used a tablet or not. And you'll see why. It sounds like a lot of work, and it was for about 30 days. But the end result is, now that we know our data, like we know exactly who buys that slicer, we know what device they're on, we know what our profit margin is going to be, we know what the best day of the week is. I don't have to do this every time. So if you do this in the beginning, learn your audience, from that point forward, everything's easier and a lot more profitable. So we know, for example, the age groups 55 to 64 obviously converted at 3.6%. It was our highest one. It was $1.51 a user. Um, and then, and so on. I mean, I don't really have to go through all these different numbers here, but you can actually even see like the bounce rate. Um, the bounce rate wasn't really affected too much by age. Like it was fairly consistent, but the conversion, on the other hand, went all the way from 1.5% all the way up to 3.5. So it was double. And 0.2, 0.5, 0.7 makes a huge difference. So obviously at this point, our ROI was extreme. Okay, this was actually something that we did that didn't work. We set up Pinterest, and everybody said, "Oh my God, like what you guys are running, it's perfect for the female audience. Like these ladies will love it and they'll share it." And we ran it, and we did it for about a month. We gave it a good, honest test, and I literally did the same thing. Ran all the ads that we ran through the UTM codes and showed it to the people that we knew converted off of Facebook, and they did not on Pinterest. So we literally, I think we probably spent $1,000 without a single sale. We had lots of ladies pinning it and sharing it, and we thought that was going to turn into sales, so we kept trying and going through the different process here. But this was one thing that we did that 100% flopped. To this day, I don't think we still have had a sale from Pinterest, but we tried. Next, yeah, this is what I was talking about. We literally got very granular. We went down to the type of phone that they were using, the tablet, desktop, ages, etc. And I only bring this up because I think the next graphic will show you some of the breakdown and how much it can vary. If you just say mobile in your ad, Facebook doesn't care. They're going to show it to every single person that's on a phone because they're going to charge you for every single person that looks at it. Well, what we did in the beginning, you have to show it to everybody because you don't know who converts and who doesn't. But if you don't ever try to collect this data, you'll never know. And so by us figuring this out, go ahead and go to the next one, Tanner. Let's see if that's where it's at. Yeah. So, I mean, you can actually break it out by iOS and Android. Well, to us, this was a breakdown of the iOS. If you look, you can see down at the bottom, obviously people didn't really see it. There was very few sessions on an iPod, no conversions. But we literally, at this point, we would have thought like a iPhone 5 and 5S would convert, but when you look at it, like it was terrible. So we literally realized that like we shouldn't show it to anyone on less than an iPhone 6. And if you look, even go up to the top, what was skewing it is the people that were on iPads were literally converting at 8.33, 5.56. So what looked like it was a winning ad to an iOS phone was really the tablet. And so what we did, we actually, for about 30 days, we quit showing it to people on the phones and only showed it to the tablets. And our iOS conversions were extreme ROI. I think we were 1 to 6. So for every dollar that we would spend on an iOS device to the tablet, we were getting back $5 or $6.
So guys, I want to clarify a little bit right here. So what this sheet is a tabulation that we compiled, okay, based on the data that we're getting from both Facebook and our Google Analytics account merged in with our AdWords. So because we are collecting all this data smartly using our UTM links and tracking and all of this stuff, we have this data available, okay? I don't know of many other marketers out there who have this data or have ever gone this granular. And you can achieve success without it. You can still make money on your ads. Most of you are probably making money with your ads right now without it. But imagine how much better you could be if you started collecting this data and could then realize that, hey, when you're checking on mobile, there's actually 12 mobile devices that you should never be running an ad to. So it's huge, guys. Very, very, very powerful here.
Sorry, I couldn't get my mute button come back on. I would just say go back to the example of the math that we did in the 10% bounce rate. Cut your cost in half. So here, if you can reduce 10% of the things that 10% of the devices that you show your ads to that don't convert for you and they've proven that they're not profitable, why wouldn't you do that? So we don't show our ads to anybody on an iPhone 5, 5S, 5C, or any of that stuff. And then we've went as far as you can do this now on Android too. So when you look at all your conversions, we actually only show it to Samsung devices and tablets for Android devices. We don't show it to all the other 600 phones that are out there that are on Android because the conversions were so few and so sparse that for us it was a negligible win for us to worry about it. So we literally just cut it out, and then that way our ads, when we run ads now, the chance of our ad being profitable, where before you'd figure you'd start 10 ads, 2 of them would be good, you're going to cut 8. I would say that we probably keep 8 and cut 2. And the reason is because literally we're sending it to people who have over time proved to be a higher converter for us.
Okay, so someone was asking about what a UTM is. So what you see here is a link that has UTM parameters in it. So you see the link is buffer.com/email courses /actionable social media strategies /. And then you see question mark UTM source. So the source part of the UTM is where it's coming from. So in this case, the source is Buffer. So it's the source is Buffer. But in your case, if you were running a Facebook ad, the source would be Facebook. And the medium is what is it? So in this case, it's a blog post. In our case, if it was a Facebook ad, you would put like PPC, okay? And then content is what kind of content is it? In this case, it's an image. But in your case, it may be the type of ad you are running or the specific ad. Could be your age group, could be all kinds of things. You can control all of these different things. And then the campaign is what campaign are you running? What is this tied to that you want to track? Okay, so you can adjust all of these, and then by using this stuff, Google then goes further from that and pulls out all the other data that they get. Yeah, would you guys like to see a training, actually, a separate training on exactly how to use UTM links and tracking like this? Okay, we'll see about setting something else up separately from this. It'd be a very techie training, but we'll see what we got. But this is the basics of UTM stuff, all right? Now, before we keep going, guys, now that you guys popped up with a bunch of yeses, what do you guys think so far? Are you guys loving this? Is this good stuff? Are you guys learning? Are you guys going to get better? Or is this going to help you?
So now I'm going to explain, and again, guys, like you don't have to know this in order to dig in. This was once we started, we started seeing ad fatigue because we were targeting those 100,000, 200,000 people audiences, and we were like, all right, like have we actually limited our data so much that's what's causing the problem? And through talking to a few other people that were good with Google Analytics and Audience Insights, we realized we just needed to think about it different. And so what we did, now that we had this data, we were actually able to go dig into Google Analytics, not just Audience Insights. Google was telling us all these affinities that were associated with these people that were running through this data. So I think if you go to the next slide, Tanner, it might show some of those affinities. Yeah, okay. So I actually have them blocked out because I didn't want to give away, like, I mean, we're pretty much already like showing you everything to do with our store. If we gave you our exact audience, it would probably kill it. So what these different numbers are, again, I got to the point where, and thankfully Tanner supported me, I was able to take several days. This particular exercise probably took me about 6 or 7 hours. probably could have taken it from 40 to 65 up and just said, okay, what affinities go with those? But I had got so much data and we had had so many wins by taking the extra time to break it down that I actually did it by age. And so what I did is I went into my Google Analytics, took the age group of 40 to 44 of all the sessions that we had run our ads through and took the top 8 affinities. And you'll see over on the left what I did with those is I actually created broad audiences. So after I'd done the top 8 for all 4 age groups, I took the ones that were most common between these 4 groups, and you'll see those over to the left. So it was TV lovers, music lovers, movie lovers, social media enthusiasts. Obviously, cooking made sense. But then we saw like political junkies, the shopping channel, QVC, and Home Shopping Network, and we realized that our product probably uh, people have seen our product on there, so we realized that, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Google was giving us data, some that we didn't know, some that we did know, and it seemed to make a lot of sense. The other thing that I was talking about earlier, you can actually see the different age groups and their conversion based on mobile, desktop, and tablet. And having that different information made it very clear to us like who we should serve our ads to. So the broad audiences on the left is how we were able to move into the millions of people to show our ads to and actually be able to scale what we were doing. And we wouldn't have had this if we never ran it through the Google Analytics. Go to the next slide. Yeah. Okay. So this was more of a peace of mind slide because we obviously run our ads 7 days a week, but anybody that runs ads realizes like you're looking at your store and you're looking at your stats like probably, I don't know, 30 times a day, 20, 30 times a day. And the thing is, like for me, I tend to go, oh, why isn't this working? Oh, today the store's like terrible. Well, by having this chart right here on a spreadsheet, for me it was super simple to go, oh, well, today's Sunday. It's normal. Oh, today is Saturday. We're going to have a good day. I'm going to start planning on Friday to ramp my ads up and we'll get the most out of it. You're already looking at your ads over and over and over. You don't remember from day to day. Like even now, like literally, I know what our 2 best days of the week are, but I don't know what the other 5 are. And I can just pull this sheet up really quick and go, yep, it's okay. Facebook isn't doing anything funky today. This is just normal. And so what it's done for me is it's gave me a lot less anxiety, and I'm not constantly going, what's going on with their ads? I just look and go, yep, it's okay. And if I do see a big discrepancy, a couple times what it's actually made me do is go, oh, okay, I better jump into my store and go through the sales process and see if something's broken. And I realize, oh, yeah, something's broken. So either the PayPal's not working or the credit card, it can be something minor, but like you literally have this data and you have like data over time that says if something's not right, you can pick it out a lot faster.
We've basically wrapped through the entire thing. So everything we just showed you, again, we started here with this screenshot, and now we're ending here with this screenshot. Not actually ending, but I want you to wrap it up with the thought process here. We made all these little changes, which if you look at them, each one you're like, that might do something or it might not. But cumulatively, this is a 307% boost to our profit. Okay, and in a dollar figure with the exact same traffic, it added over $78,000 to Matt and I's pocket. That's take home, go do whatever we want, buy a car type money, right? Do whatever you want with it. That was from no extra spending. Okay, we spent the exact same money on ads. Now, as we spend more money on ads and buy even more traffic, it keeps going. Now, the other important thing to understand here, guys, is this is front end sales. This is not ongoing residual. This is not continuity. This is no back end marketing. This is nothing. It's just the front end.
One thing here I just want to say for clarification, just in case you guys are not everybody's going to understand the same abbreviations. So over on the right where we put extra sales, COGS, and fulfillment, what we did was, I mean, we could have just showed a screenshot and said, oh yeah, we did $117,573 more from
Profit.
the same traffic. That's not profit. Because obviously if you slide up the scale a little bit, our sales went from 2,630 to 4,946. So now all of a sudden we have 2,316 more slicers that we have to fulfill. So what we did over on the right, the red square, is we took out the cost of those
And
2,613
fulfillment.
slicers and the cost to fulfill it, put it in a box, put postage on it, and ship it. That includes our shipping too. So yeah, there's $117,000 extra in sales, but it actually cost us $40,000 to fulfill those sales. So we took that off because we wanted to give you real numbers. Like the last thing in the world, I don't like to sell overhype. Actually, I don't sell at all. This is my first time. But I wanted to explain what these numbers are for you. So literally, the $78,000 is net. It's not. Um, it's not a fancy screenshot. It's what we can actually take home from the same amount of ad spend.
So guys, the cool thing here though is yeah, there are extra sales, cost of goods, and fulfillment. Why? Because we sold more products. But what you don't see there is you don't see an extra $10 a unit in ad spend because we didn't have to buy any more traffic. This is literally from the exact same traffic we were already spending. So this is what's possible when you actually take the time to optimize your store. If your goal is to get more sales and all you do right now is run more ads and you're like, oh yeah, my store, I'm gonna find a new product, whatever. Why don't you stop thinking like these, meta type things and go down and look at your store and go, hey, maybe I should pay some attention to what I'm doing and what my store actually does before I start throwing money on a ad spend that's not going to go anywhere.
And the other thing that I'd like to point out here is, um, literally, when we first started this, we thought we were going to kill the store. Our goal was to,
Fire sale.
yeah, just to have a fire sale and get rid of the stuff. But what we realized is doing a couple little tweaks, all of a sudden, it made sense for us to think a little bit differently about it. So we can't say that we had this idea right from the very beginning. Like this is a learning process. So you guys actually get to see from when we were of the mindset that we were just trying to sell what we had invested, try to recoup our money, to literally turning it into a huge profit margin. And the other thing is, like a lot of other people, like what they do, they just start throwing more products. Well, more products would have meant that we had to buy more stuff, we had to deal with more shipping, more manufacturing time, all these other things. Like we were able to do this literally with 3 products in our store. So rather than just like throwing more stuff at the wall, what we did was just work with what we had. And a lot of times, like I'm a big proponent of the 80-20 theory. A lot of people go, oh yeah, well 20% brings all the profit. Well, it does. Like what we did was we figured out what 20% to go after, and that's all we focus on. We got rid of everything else. So we weren't adding things to make more money. We were literally getting rid of stuff.
Just in another little picture of what you want to see everything together in it without all the extra numbers in between it. Add to cart went up from 10 to 12.55. Hit checkout went from 2.27 to 4.07. Number of visitors with this in terms of same amount of traffic, after we cut bounce rate from 3 to 6,000. Sales from 1.75 to 3.29. Number of sales went from 2,600 to 2,630, excuse me, to 4,946. Average order value $36.97 to $43.43, currently sitting at $50. And then you can see revenue went from $97,000 to $214,000 with a net gain in our pocket of $78,000. All right. Just this puts it into perspective. These 24 tweaks, these simple, nothing we showed you was complicated besides maybe some of the data stuff, which Google actually collects and Facebook collects for you if you help it. It's all simple stuff anybody can do, okay? So this can make a huge impact on your store.
I'm gonna give you guys something that literally a couple of people in some of the comments that Phil had posted said, "Oh, well, could we get our money back?" And I said no. The reason why is because this one thing right here, if you do it, It will literally take you less than 1 day if you do 20 sales a day, you'll get your money back. So like we honestly feel like we've provided a boatload of value. And I want to give you one more thing that we learned um, after we did these slides, because these slides have been done. This is actually my first PowerPoint I ever put together too. So I'm being 100% transparent. When we changed the language in this upsell app right here, where it says 47% of our customers add these 3 additional storage containers, we saw the boost. I mean, and that's obviously why we left it in there as long as we did. Well, Phil and I were talking, and Phil liked our upsell app. He actually tried the language, and I'm going to put it in the chat here right now. I think that goes. So can everybody see that, right? Because it says to all.
Yep.
100, okay. So 100% of our customers get free shipping when they add these 3 additional storage containers. So if you take this language that I just put in the chat, 100% of our customers get free shipping when they add. Now to go back to what I said earlier, the rational thinking mind, we've already told them they get free shipping. We've already told them we pay shipping. So on our store, this should not have made a difference, but Phil said it made a $13 average order value difference on his. So I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I try that? I put it in there, and literally from day one, and it's held now for a little over 2 weeks, we've averaged an order value bump of $5.10. Well, they're already getting free shipping, but for some reason, the 100% of our customers get free shipping when they add has caused enough people to add more items into their cart that we get $5 more from every single sale. And honestly, I think the last few days, it's even more than that. So if you made 20 sales a day and you add this language to your upsell app, I'm pretty sure that you're going to ROI same day, and then every day after that it's free money. So try it. I would cut and paste it and figure out some variation that works for you, because we've actually given it to about 4 other people in our Black Label Mastermind, and every single person that's tried it is as shocked as we are that it works every time.
So guys, I actually threw it on the screen here too, so you can see it. But that's it. It's in the chat. Take a screenshot of it if you haven't copied it, whatever. But it sounds weird. It doesn't read right. I can't stand it, but it makes us a lot of money, so we leave it. So you should try it too.